Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson, in today for Tony Adams. One of the biggest challenges for communities and families across Vermont is finding activities and events that engage young people. Kids often complain that there's nothing to do, and that can be especially true after school when parents are still working. Today we head to Bristol, Vermont, where UVM Extension's Expand Caring Communities program has made a positive difference in the lives of hundreds of young people, their families, and their community. Across the Fence producer Will Michael tells us more.
Bristol is the second largest town in Addison County. Its population is about 4,000, about a quarter of whom are under the age of 18. The thriving downtown is a point of pride among residents here, but a decade ago, Bristol had very little to offer its young people.
We had a pretty severe problem on the main street with young people hanging out, particularly in front of the bakery. And they weren't bad. There wasn't anything about that. It's just that the number of young people and the language to a degree and the constant movement, was intimidating to a number of people.
Well, 10 years ago, we received a grant. We looked at Bristol, we came in, and we wanted to offer more programming for youth.
I'm a doer.
Ray Beaver is a social worker. He was hired in 1995 by UVM Extension as part of its Expanded Caring Communities Project, or ECC.
I had a lot of experience working with kids prior to coming here. And so when Extension set it up, they gave us a computer, they gave us all the tools to do a really good job of getting something going. So what I did was I got a group of kids together and I said, what do you want? What do you need here? You sit in front of the bakery, the police come, they tell you have to leave. You go up to the pizza place, the police come and they tell you you have to leave. So, the general store says, we don't want kids hanging around, so what do you want to do? Well, there's nothing for us to do. So what I did was I got a group of kids and said, if you could have the power, what would you do? And they said, we'd have a place to go.
The UVM Extension grant provided funding for that place, and the Bristol Youth Center, or the Hub, was born.
This was an extension project, and that the stamp of extension would be on this long after I was gone. When we do talk to people here, there's this whole appreciation for what extension did here.
The year 2000 marked the end of extension funding, and it was now up to the community to decide whether the youth center was worth keeping.
We went to the town and said, do you want this? And they said yes.
It's growing. And it's growing because people have made that commitment. And town meetings have been interesting. We would present a budget for the rec department, and it would be almost raised from the floor. Someone would get up and say, well, let's ask for another X number of $1,000. And it would go through.
Jerry Hoyts is the Bristol Recreation Coordinator. Among other things, her department oversees the youth center.
We had a survey at town meeting, and one of the questions was, do you want to continue to support the skate park and the teen center? And 75% of the taxpayers said definitely yes.
In addition to a pickup game of foosball or pool, the Bristol Center also offers these kids special programs, like guitar lessons, jewelry making, or pottery classes. These kinds of programs help support today's families.
Right now, a lot of these kids, both parties in the family work, both husband and wife work, and there's no one home at home, and it serves as a stopping place. Some kids just come in and check in for a half an hour. They eat something, they leave, but it is truly a safe, feel-good place to come to that for many kids that may not have any place to go to. There is more of a diverse group of kids coming now, which is really cool. There are more girls coming now than ever before. And I think, that's due to the facility improving, the renovations that the facilities had. It feels cleaner, it is cleaner, and there's more girl activities to do.
There's fun things to do here, as in you can, practically do whatever, hang out with all your friends. At school, you don't really get a chance to.
It just keeps a lot of kids out of trouble.
Are there new friendships that you have because you come here?
Yeah, I got closer to my friends and stuff here because I get to see them more outside of school. So you can just go and chill without your parents nagging at you and telling you to clean your room and stuff. Just be able to hang out with your friends there. That's what it mostly is about. And then on like Fridays and stuff, you can play Xbox and play Halo and stuff here. So that's pretty cool. And they have pool tournaments. It's just fun.
Hitting all the rails, doing whatever, kick, flip.
I come here because like I skate, obviously, and what else is there to do, really? So this gives you something to do, and also, like, I don't know, it's a good thing to do. Come here and skate, and then there's a hub right here, which is good for if you're hungry or something, and then it's like a good scene in there. You can play pool or whatever, so there's always something to do, and it's better than being in trouble or something.
Like the skate park, just like after school, I just relieves all my stress from like schoolwork and stuff. And if I went straight home after that, I'd sit down probably on the computer and do homework and stuff. So it's good to have something to do.
We all have virtues. No one doesn't have virtues. The biggest part of this is that if kids can be an active community of their own, then they can take a greater role. They understand how to be a part of the greater community.
I think it works because kids come in here and hang out and talk with each other, and they feel comfortable enough to put their feet up on the coffee table, talk to their friends. Sometimes they'll have questions for us, you know, that are questions, life questions, for instance, you know? Like last year there was a real thing on bullying. You know, when that whole bullying debate was, the kid in Essex killed himself. That really reverberated through kids. I don't know if people understood how much that really did touch all kids. And we're down here in Bristol, and our kids were asking questions about it, and they sought us out for those questions, you know? So that says that they have some trust for us as adults working here with them, that they want to know, you know, what do you guys think about this? During the whole bullying thing, I saw kids really starting to take ownership of this too, is that we're not going to let that happen here. And when kids would come in and say we always question language, you know, when kids would come in and say, I heard a kid one day he's one of the toughest kids in town. And a kid come in one day and said one of these words, and the guy says, you know, we don't do that in here. And when the kids start confronting each other, that means it's ownership. They've taken ownership of something.
Among kids, this is like a community that's being built. Like, just you kind of get a chance to meet other kids and stuff, and it's definitely is like this kind of different community for kids, and it's not like, I don't know, it's not as much like this weird authority going on here. So, and the kids are cool with that. There is some dumb stuff that happens, but for the most part, kids respect that people aren't like shouting down your back and stuff.
I think as we see ownership, the community at large sees ownership. And they hear from their kids that, I mean, I've had parents who never were in here and said, I hear that's a real party center. I said, why don't you come and check it out? And then they come and they go, wow, this is great. You know, and that changes attitudes. That's what ECC was about, was forming community relationships and collaborations that build things for kids. And I mean, we're in the center of it right here. These are the kids who are going to come and take our jobs later on, and they're going to keep it going. And the reason they're going to do that is because of what we did. And when we lose kids in our community, we lose kids because we disinvite them to participate. And what we've done in Bristol is we've invited kids to participate, and they're doing it.
It's exciting to come back to Bristol and see of the wonderful things that are still happening and the new things that are happening since we left. It's just wonderful to see the great work and the work that the town has done since we left.
The seed planted here by UVM Extension a decade ago has helped expand this caring community. In Bristol, I'm Will Michael with Across the Fence.
The Bristol Youth Center is open year-round with its after-school programs and special camps in the summer. The center and skate park serve young people in nearby communities also, like Starksboro and Lincoln.